Mike Walls follows Jeffrey Goldberg on Twitter, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and Twitch, where he streams as Apple-73 as he plays Marvel Rivals, and no one cares. And then the national security advisor adds the Atlantic editor to his Signal group, and all hellfire rains down, and not just on the Houthis. That is what happened. Goldberg did not believe that Walls, J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, and the gang would be having this conversation with him sitting right there in the corner taking notes. But that's what happened. They just added some guy named JG and hoped it might have been Jeff Goldberg, perhaps the late James Gandolfini, but no, it was Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg. And what a conversation he was privy to. I got to say, as a matter of operational security, it did not inspire me. But from a vantage point of assessing U.S. decision-making, it was fascinating. Most in the forum wanted to do what the administration eventually did, fire upon the Houthis. Jeffrey Goldberg also has no love for the Houthis and likely approved of the mission, which is lucky for the Principals Committee on Signal and Houthi haters everywhere. By the way, Principals was spelled wrong in the Signal chat. Because what I'm saying is a different uninvited guest could have blown the entire mission, could have put American lives on the line, or just scuttled it, and had First Amendment protection on his side. And that journalist couldn't have been charged because the hypothetical interloper who might have behaved less responsibly or patriotically than Jeffrey Goldberg could have claimed, well, there was no classified material here. That sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what members of the chat group were saying on Capitol Hill today. In fact, they are insisting, they're going beyond that, and they're insisting no mistakes were made. Here was Democratic Senator from Georgia, John Ossoff, talking at a Senate Intel Committee hearing to John Ratcliffe, CIA director, who was in the Signal group.
Director Ratcliffe, this was a huge mistake, correct?
No.
A national political...
Hold on.
No, you
Let me
hold
answer.
on. No, Director
The
Ratcliffe, I asked you a yes
no.
or no question, and now you'll hold on. A national political reporter
You can characterize it how you want.
was made privy
The White
to
House has
sensitive
made
information
clear
about
that there
imminent
was an
military
inadvertent
operations against a
mistake,
foreign terrorist
an inadvertent
organization.
mistake of adding a reporter.
And that wasn't a huge
to
mistake?
Israel.
That wasn't a huge mistake?
Well, I think they characterize
This is
it
an
as
embarrassment.
a mistake.
This is utterly unprofessional. There's been no apology. There has been no recognition of the gravity of this error. And by the way, we will get the full transcript of this chain, and your testimony will be measured carefully against its content.
Goldberg says he didn't even want to know, not the wins in the house at least. He talked to Tim Miller of The Bulwark today.
I want to know the strategy. I want to know the arguments. I want to know our foreign policy posture. I want to know after action. I want to know if it worked or not, if they killed the right people or if they killed civilians by mistake. I don't want to know what planes are flying when. It's not information I should have. Sorry, I get very exercised about this because the White House is saying there is no classified information. Classification is a technical term, so put that aside. But the White House is now saying there's nothing in there that was sensitive. And it's like, boys, what are you talking about here?
What they were talking about was sensitive, if not technically classified material. And from that, there will be calls for investigations, and maybe there will be some firings. We'll see. Mike Walls wasn't a darling of the Bannon wing of the Republican Party to begin with. Also, every time in the future when Trump says leakers are the scourge of the earth or leakers should be prosecuted, the obvious rejoinder will be, Mike Walls leaked. He's still there in your administration. Unless he isn't. But I was very interested in the objections to the strike aired by Vice President J.D. Vance. On the one hand, it's interesting, but not alarming if this were to have occurred in a secure discussion in, say, the Situation Room. Had Vance said then, let's not strike them. This helps Europe more than us. We can't wait. And that, by the way, is what he said. And then Pete Hegseth came in and said, with all respect, Mr. Vice President, no, let's do it now. And Stephen Miller comes in over the top and says,
I have a special practice. I handle one client.
On the Signal chat, it's more alarming to know that conversation took place in Signal, but it is revealing. Vance acts among his peers in the cabinet like he does in public. His ideology, such as it is consistent. He hates the Europeans more than he hates the Houthis, but he's placated by the others. Oh, yes, we certainly loathe the freeloading Europeans too. But we're going to hit the Houthis. Also of fascination, how to sell it. So Hegseth wrote, I think messaging is going to be tough no matter what. Nobody knows who the Houthis are, which is why we need to stay focused on 1, Biden failed, 2, Iran funded. That was what he said on March 14th. The bombs dropped on March 16th. Here was Hegseth on Fox News, March 17th.
And the message is clear to Iran as well. And the president said it in his truth. Your support of the Houthis needs to end immediately. We will hold you accountable as the sponsor of this proxy. And I echo his statement. We will not be nice about it. This is not the Biden administration. The message is clear. We will come after the Houthis until they stop shooting at our ships, and the Iranians better stay out of it.
It's all there, out in the open, way too out in the open for all to see. Hegseth also said this about Jeffrey Goldberg.
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again.
He seems to have gotten the goods this time. Well, not gotten, he was given them, and the call came from inside the house.